Most of us search for greatness, yet we often overlook the quiet power of daily habits. True strength is not in sudden bursts of effort, but in the gentle, consistent shaping of the mind. Today we explore how to build habits that make you mentally unstoppable. Before any true change can occur, there must first be awareness. Awareness is the gentle lamp that illuminates the dark corners of your mind, revealing the patterns, impulses, and unconscious habits that have quietly guided your life until now. Most people live in a kind of fog, moving from one day to the next, repeating actions without ever pausing to consider why they act as they do. And it is in this fog that potential is wasted, opportunities pass unseen, and the mind remains captive to automatic behaviors. Awareness is not judgment. It is not saying, I am weak or I am flawed. It is simply seeing. Like a scientist observing an experiment, you observe your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. You notice the way your mind lingers on the past, clings to regrets, or leaps toward the future in anxious anticipation. Awareness allows you to step back and become a witness to your own life. Consider the habits you carry, both large and small. The way you reach for your phone the moment you wake, the words you speak when anger rises, the excuses you make for not doing what you truly desire. All of these are seeds planted in your mind long ago, and they grow quietly, often unnoticed, shaping the course of your days. To begin building mental strength, to become unstoppable, you must first shine the light of attention on these seeds. And here is a subtle truth. Once you see your habits clearly, the mind begins to awaken. Awareness itself carries a kind of power. Simply noticing a pattern is the first act of liberation. Like a stream that slowly carves a canyon, this gentle observation begins to create change without force. The moment you see a habit as it is, you gain the freedom to choose rather than being unconsciously swept along. Start small. Observe one habit today. Observe one reaction tomorrow. Notice the stories your mind tells itself. Awareness is like opening a window in a room long closed, fresh air enters, and you see the world differently. Over time, this simple act of noticing accumulates. Your mind becomes clearer. Your choices become intentional, and the habits that truly serve you can begin to take root. Awareness also nurtures compassion. As you witness yourself with kindness rather than judgment, you understand that the patterns of the mind are not failures. They are simply the echoes of the past. By observing without self-condemnation, you create the fertile ground where growth, resilience, and mental strength can flourish. So today I invite you to pause. Take a deep breath. Look at your thoughts, your routines, your impulses with curiosity. Ask yourself, what am I repeating unconsciously? And what serves me truly? The first step toward becoming mentally unstoppable is not action. It is seeing. What is one habit or thought pattern you've noticed in yourself today that you'd like to transform? Share your awareness. Let's start this journey together. Once awareness has illuminated the habits of your mind, the next step is consistency. Yet consistency is often misunderstood. It is not about grand gestures or sudden bursts of effort. It is a quiet, steady rhythm that becomes woven into the fabric of your daily life. True mental strength and unstoppable habits are not forged in moments of inspiration, but in the gentle repetition of small, deliberate actions, day after day, without fanfare or judgment. Consider the natural world. The river does not carve the canyon through a single surge of water. It flows patiently, persistently, over years. The tree does not grow overnight. It stretches its roots, grows its leaves, day after day, through sun and storm alike. Human change is much the same. Every time you repeat a positive action, no matter how small, you reinforce the neural pathways that shape your mind. Each repetition is a quiet vote for the life you wish to live. Consistency is also intimately tied to trust in yourself and in the process. The mind often seeks immediate results, impatient for transformation. You may start a habit with enthusiasm, only to abandon it after a single day of discomfort or distress. Action. This is the illusion of quick success, the temptation of short-lived motivation. But true mental resilience is built through repetition, through showing up even when you do not feel like it, through trusting that the seeds you plant today will bear fruit tomorrow. There is a subtle elegance in this process. You do not have to be extraordinary every day. You do not need monumental effort. What matters is persistence. If you meditate for 5 minutes consistently rather than an hour sporadically, the 5 minutes repeated daily will yield far more growth than the occasional hour. If you write one paragraph every day rather than a novel in a weekend, the paragraph repeated daily accumulates into mastery. This is the quiet power of consistency. It compounds invisibly, unseen yet unstoppable over time. Consistency also teaches patience, a virtue often overlooked in our hurried world. When you act with constancy, you learn to move with the flow of life rather than against it. You understand that transformation is not an event but a process, a series of small steps that gradually reshape your mind, your habits, and your character. Mental toughness is less about force and more about this gentle, persistent unfolding. And here is the paradox. In striving for unstoppable growth, it is consistency, not intensity, that ultimately liberates you. By embedding discipline into the rhythms of your daily life, by choosing small, positive actions repeated faithfully, you begin to build a foundation so strong that the storms of distraction, doubt, and inertia no longer sway you. The mind becomes unshakable because it is trained not by grand efforts, but by the steady, invisible power of habit. What is one small action you can commit to daily for the next month? Share it with us, and let's inspire each other to cultivate consistency in our journey. One of the most overlooked truths about building habits and becoming mentally unstoppable is that growth is never comfortable. The mind instinctively seeks ease, and the body instinctively craves comfort. We avoid strain, shun challenge, and seek the familiar warmth of routines that require no effort. But the path to strength, both mental and habitual, lies precisely in embracing the discomfort that we usually resist. Consider life itself. Storms shape the coastline, mountains rise under immense pressure, and diamonds are formed under the weight of the earth. In a similar way, the difficulties, the challenges, and the moments of unease in your daily life are not obstacles to your growth. They are its raw material. Each time you face discomfort with awareness rather than avoidance, you train your mind to expand, to adapt, and to discover reserves of resilience you did not know existed. Discomfort is also a mirror. When you feel resistance, irritation, or unease, it is not a signal to retreat. It is a signal to observe, to understand, and to act consciously. If a habit feels hard at first, that difficulty is the mind T. Ling it is breaking old patterns, shaking loose neural pathways that no longer serve you. Embrace this sensation, and you will notice that what once seemed unbearable becomes natural, even effortless, over time. The key lies in perception. The discomfort itself is not the enemy. It is your interpretation of it that creates suffering. If you view challenge as punishment, you will shrink away from it. But if you view challenge as guidance, as a teacher showing you the next step in your evolution, it becomes a source of inspiration rather than fear. This shift in perspective is subtle yet transformative. The mind learns to welcome the friction that builds character rather than recoil from it. Furthermore, discomfort fosters presence. When you are pushed to the edge of your comfort zone, your attention sharpens. You are fully alive in that moment, not distracted by fantasies of ease or regrets of the past. Habits cultivated in the arena of discomfort are stronger because they are forged under pressure, ingrained in the soil of reality rather than the fleeting air of convenience. Mental resilience grows from this exposure. It cannot be simulated, cannot be bought, and cannot be achieved by avoiding the difficult. And here lies the paradox. In seeking comfort, you cultivate weakness. In facing discomfort, you cultivate freedom. The more willing you are to step into the unknown, to endure the initial unease of change, the more unstoppable you become. Habits built under the gent. The guidance of discomfort are not easily broken, for they are rooted in a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. What is one habit you've avoided because it felt uncomfortable? Share it, and let's explore together how embracing discomfort can unlock your hidden potential. One of the most profound insights into building unbeatable habits is realizing that consistency, not bursts of motivation, is the true engine of transformation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the tides, sometimes sweeping you forward with energy and sometimes retreating, leaving you stranded on the shores of procrastination. Discipline, however, rooted in consistent action, is unwavering. It is not swayed by your mood, your fears, or the external circumstances that surround you. Think of a river carving through rock. It does not rely on the occasional flood of water to form a canyon. It flows day after day, year after year, gradually shaping the landscape. In the same way, small, consistent actions, repeated without fail, create results that sudden bursts of enthusiasm could never achieve. Each day you show up, even when you do not feel like it, you are shaping the architecture of your mind, your character, and your life. Consistency transforms the abstract into the tangible. A single effort may seem meaningless, but when repeated over time, it compounds like interest in a bank account. The habits you nurture through consistent action become part of your identity, not just why. Our schedule. They no longer require a conscious decision each day. They become automatic extensions of who you are. This is the foundation of being mentally unstoppable. It is not about feeling inspired every morning. It is about committing to your practice, your craft, your growth, even when the initial spark has faded. Another key aspect of consistency is patience. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, we often measure success by immediate results. Yet real mastery, whether in developing habits or building mental resilience, unfolds gradually. It requires faith in the process, trust that each action, however small, contributes to a larger transformation. Every repetition, every moment of persistence is a deposit into the bank of your future self. Moreover, consistency nurtures self-respect. When you follow through on your commitments to yourself, even in the absence of excitement or external validation, you cultivate a sense of integrity. Your mind learns that your word matters, not just to others, but to yourself. This internal alignment fosters confidence, reduces inner conflict, and strengthens your mental fortitude. Consistency also builds momentum. One small action today creates the conditions for the next, which in turn sets the stage for the next, and so on. Soon, you find yourself operating in a rhythm that carries you forward effortlessly, even when motivation is absent. The habit itself becomes your ally, sustaining you through periods of doubt or fatigue. What is one small habit you can commit to consistently, even when motivation fades? Share your thoughts, and let's inspire each other to embrace the power of unwavering consistency. True growth rarely comes from comfort. The mind and body expand not when everything is easy and convenient, but when they are challenged, stretched, and tested. Life, much like a muscle, strengthens in response to tension. It is in the small moments of discomfort, waking up early, sitting in silence, resisting the urge to procrastinate, that the foundation for an unstoppable mind is laid. Discomfort teaches patience. When you embrace it rather than resist it, you begin to understand that growth is a process, not an event. Every moment of struggle is an opportunity to build resilience. The mind, accustomed to ease, often recoils at the idea of pushing boundaries. But it is precisely this resistance that signals a chance to expand. By confronting the things that feel uncomfortable, you are signaling to yourself that you are capable of more than you believe. Habits that cultivate mental toughness are forged in this tension. Consider the simple act of discipline, sticking to a habit even when it feels difficult, even when every fiber of your being wants to quit. This tension between desire and action, between ease and resistance, is where transformation occurs. The mind learns not to seek constant comfort, but to operate with awareness, focus, and persistence, regardless of external conditions. Discomfort also provides clarity. When the mind is pushed to its limits, distractions fade, and you are forced to confront your true priorities. You begin to see what matters and what is trivial. This clarity strengthens decision-making and sharpens mental faculties. The ability to endure, to persist in the face of discomfort, becomes a form of empowerment. an internal resource that no external circumstance can take away. It is important to recognize that embracing discomfort does not mean seeking pain for its own sake. Rather, it is a conscious choice to face the inevitable challenges of life without avoidance. It is understanding that growth, progress, and mastery require stretching beyond your current capacity. Every small step into discomfort builds confidence, because with each experience, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you imagined. In the context of habits, this principle is transformative. Habits that feel challenging at first, whether it is meditation, exercise, study, or reflection, may initially provoke resistance. But by consistently engaging with them, the mind and body adapt. The discomfort diminishes, and what once seemed difficult becomes natural. In this process, mental strength is cultivated quietly, steadily, and profoundly. What is one uncomfortable habit you've been avoiding that could strengthen your mind if you embraced it? Comment below and share your journey. Your courage might inspire someone else to take that first step into discomfort. Many people measure their progress in life by results, the trophy, the paycheck, the recognition. Yet, life is not a straight path from effort to reward. True mental strength and personal growth emerge when you shift your attention from the fleeting satisfaction of outcomes to the enduring power of the systems you create. Systems are the invisible scaffolding upon which excellence is built. They are habits, routines, and consistent practices that over time compound into extraordinary results. When you focus solely on outcomes, the mind becomes fragile. A single failure or delay can lead to discouragement, anxiety, or frustration. Your motivation becomes dependent on external validation or transient victories. But when your energy is invested in systems, in the daily disciplines and choices within your control, the mind gains a stability that is not shaken by temporary setbacks. You become resilient because your success is no longer conditional, it is embedded in the process itself. Consider an analogy. A gardener does not plant a tree expecting immediate fruit. He waters the soil, tends to the roots, and prunes the branches patiently, day by day. The fruit appears only after consistent care. Similarly, your habits and routines are the soil and roots of your mental and personal growth. Each day you show up, follow your systems, and embrace the process. You are planting seeds that will bear fruit far beyond the immediate moment. Focusing on systems also cultivates mindfulness. When your attention is directed toward the process rather than a distant goal, you fully inhabit the present. You notice small improvements, celebrate incremental progress, and refine your approach continually. This awareness deepens your mastery, making you adaptable and flexible, qualities essential to mental resilience. The wisdom in focusing on systems is profound. It teaches patience, consistency, and humility. You learn that greatness is rarely instantaneous. It is built quietly, steadily, and almost invisibly. The individual who masters their daily systems develops confidence, not from luck or sudden achievement, but from the undeniable proof that they are capable of disciplined action over time. Moreover, systems are empowering because they place control back into your hands. Life may throw challenges, delays, or obstacles, but your commitment to your systems remains within your power. You cannot always control outcomes, but you can control your practice, your approach, and your response. This realization is liberating and transforms mental limitations into opportunities for growth. What daily system or habit have you built that consistently moves you forward, regardless of the outcome? Comment below and share how focusing on the process has shaped your growth. It could inspire someone to start building their own systems today. One of the most subtle yet powerful truths about growth is that discomfort is not the enemy, it is the teacher. In life, we often avoid situate ions that challenge us, that stretch our limits, that expose our vulnerabilities. We cling to comfort because it feels safe, familiar, and predictable. Yet it is precisely in moments of discomfort that the mind is sharpened, resilience is forged, and true transformation occurs. Discomfort is the indicator that you are stepping beyond the boundaries of your habitual self. When a task feels difficult, when a conversation is challenging, when your emotions are stirred, it signals that growth is underway. Just as muscles grow stronger through tension, The mind expands through trials and challenges. Avoiding discomfort may bring temporary relief, but it also ensures stagnation, mediocrity, and the slow erosion of potential. Consider the metaphor of the bamboo. For years, the bamboo root system grows quietly beneath the surface, unseen and unnoticed. Then suddenly the bamboo shoots up, towering above the earth. The growth is dramatic, but it is only possible because of the deep, patient preparation underground. Discomfort is the underground work of the mind and spirit. It may not feel rewarding in the moment, but it prepares you for the height of achievement and understanding. Embracing discomfort also teaches acceptance. Life is rarely gentle or predictable, and trying to control every outcome leads to frustration. But when you engage with discomfort, when you allow yourself to fully inhabit difficult moments, you develop an inner calm and adaptability. You learn that the world is not something to resist or fix, but a flow of experiences to navigate with awareness. Mental toughness is not born from avoiding challenges. It is born from dancing with them. Discomfort also reveals your inner values. In the moments when life is difficult, when you are tested, your choices become clearer. Do you act from fear or courage, from attachment or curiosity? These moments strip away the illusions of comfort and force you to confront what truly matters. Each challenge becomes a mirror, reflecting both your strengths and areas for growth, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. The paradox is beautiful. The very thing we resist, the tension, the challenge, the uncertainty, is the vehicle for liberation. By leaning into discomfort, by choosing presence over avoidance, we cultivate mental resilience, clarity, and confidence. Life's greatest lessons are rarely comfortable, yet they are essential. What uncomfortable moment in your life taught you the most valuable lesson? Share your experience in the comments below and inspire others to see challenges not as obstacles, but as teachers guiding them toward growth. We often misunderstand the nature of progress. Society glorifies bursts of brilliance, sudden breakthroughs, and instant results. Yet true power, the kind that transforms life, does not arise from sporadic effort. It emerges from consistency. Small, intentional actions repeated over time accumulate into habits, and habits shape the character, the mind, and ultimately the life we live. Consistency is like the river cutting through rock. The water itself is gentle, even unremarkable. Yet with persistence, it carves valleys, reshapes landscapes, and leaves marks that endure for centuries. So too with human effort. Repeated actions, however modest they seem, compound into mastery, resilience, and inner strength. One decisive choice made once may inspire, but only consistent choices shape destiny. Consider the paradox. Consistency requires both discipline and surrender. Discipline to take the action even when the mood does not support it, even when motivation falters. Surrender to the process, understanding that the fruits may not appear immediately. Life is not a series of isolated acts. It is an unfolding, a continuous flow, and the power of each moment is realized through the steady practice of mindful living. Consistency also fosters self-trust. When you show up for yourself day after day, you build a relationship with your own potential. You begin to understand that your capacity is not dependent on fleeting inspiration, but on your willingness to engage, to act, and to persevere. Confidence arises naturally when one learns that effort, repeated over time, is both reliable and transformative. Moreover, consistency allows the mind to embrace growth without pressure. In a world obsessed with results, the soul suffers from constant comparison and expectation. But by practicing consistency, you anchor yourself in process rather than outcome. Each day becomes an opportunity to refine, to learn, and to deepen awareness. Success becomes not a distant destination, but the natural byproduct of your engagement with life itself. Yet, the most profound aspect of consistency is that it creates freedom. It frees you from the tyranny of mood, from the fluctuations of motivation, from the external demands of validation. When effort becomes habitual, you are no longer a slave to circumstance. You are guided by your own internal rhythm, your own deliberate flow. And in that rhythm, life ceases to feel like a struggle and becomes an art form, a dance between effort and surrender, action and stillness, What is one habit or consistent practice that has transformed your life over time? Share it in the comments below and inspire others to see the true power in showing up for themselves day after day.